Our next speaker is Danny, who is one of our patrons of the BDD Foundation. And he's been doing some amazing work with an incredible app. Is it fair to call it an app or more of a website called JAAQ, Just Ask a Question. And Danny has his own lived experience of BDD, and he's a real tour de force, a campaigner for raising awareness for various mental health problems, including BDD, and we're very excited to have him here, Danny Gray, here to talk with us about Just Ask a Question. JAAQ, thank you very much, Dan.
Hello. Hi everyone, how you doing? I bet it's been a massively long day, hasn't it? And you're all probably knackered, so I'll walk around all over the place. And the other thing I do quite a lot when I do my talks, I do tend to swear quite a lot, so I hope that's all right. However, I did find out the other day that Harvard did a study on swearing, a 40-year study. Apparently, people who swear like normally, right, and don't just put it on, are more empathetic, more trustworthy, and generally clever. Anyway, what the fuck? Anyway, what the fuck to Harvard? No. So, right, I don't know what I'm doing up here, if I'm honest. Am I just clicking through? Am I just clicking through?
Yeah, just click through.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just tell you a bit about my own personal story. So the journey for me started way back when I was 12 years old, right? So I always start over here. So when I was 12 years old, my ears used to be right angled to my head. So they were that bad, my mum wouldn't let me outside when it was windy. So I can laugh and joke, but people putting their hands in front of their face. But no, look, I was Jack the Lad at school, captain of all the football teams, not a care in the world. One day I was on the playground, looked over, and there was 3 lads. And they were under, I can remember it now, they were under a netball post. And they started flapping their ears and singing the R. Kelly song, I Believe I Can Fly. So can't listen to R. Kelly now, which is now a bonus. But for the first time ever in my life, I went home, looked in the mirror, I had a blonde bowl cut, which was probably a disaster, and my ears they did stick out a lot, and then that was it for me. So every minute of every day, pretty much from then, I started thinking about it. So much so that within 3 months, my mum had my ears pinned back on the NHS. That's showing me, at 12 years old, my mum made that conscious decision to get my ears pinned back on the NHS. And like a lot of things with mental health, it starts here, right? So something, a lot of time, it might be trauma, it might be a build-up. So the actual average is 10 years from when someone first feels something to when they reach out. All right, so that's a journey on average. Mine was 18 years it took, okay? So I'm 12 years old, I get bullied because of my ears, and then that was it. I had my ears pinned back. Gradually it's getting worse and worse, always taking care about my appearance. Got to 14 or 15, I got spots, not necessarily acne. That was a disaster for me. Turned to my sister, she gave me a little bit of makeup, and I put it on, and I couldn't believe what a product could do. So at 15 years old, I started wearing makeup. I wear it every single day. I've got it on today. And it was a tool that I started using with those spots. But look, move forward, get to about 18, 19. What happens then? Girls, going out a lot. Getting ready was a disaster. So getting ready could take me hours to get ready, multiple showers. And my hair, I was fixated on my hair. It took forever to get ready, hours and hours. So much so that some nights, I remember one night I went into London, and you know when you're on a train at night, and what happens? The windows turn into mirrors, disaster. But everyone in this room who feels like that with me, it's like, I took one look, and that was it. But one hair out of place, all the way out. Literally, you're normally life and soul, couldn't do anything with my mates, so I turned around and came back home. So that's happening in my life. I have a bit of, my career starts, so stress at work, bang, another thing, right? Horrible fucking boss, as normal. And all this stress is building up and building up. Got to about 28, and I can always remember this. I was at work. I was 28, and look, gradually now this is getting ridiculous. How long it's taken me to get ready. Everything clothes. Wear a tracksuit today because I feel comfortable in it, but clothes were a disaster. Buy multiple clothes. If the arms didn't fit properly, disaster. So I got to start getting them tailored. Disaster. Got to about 28. I was at work. I can always remember this. Got in my car. I was in the rearview mirror and I went, oh fuck. And here I thought I was losing my hair. So there's a gap like that in my hair. That was it. 2 years of my life. Every minute of every day, that's all I thought about. And if you can see, I'm very fortunate, I'm actually not losing my hair. And it was all consuming for me. I'll be in here looking, and I'll just be looking at, how was that person? How much has he lost? Right, every TV program I watched, that's all I thought. And then classic here, right, with mental health, feel something here, 12 years old, I did something about it, got to about 13, 14, 15, makeup, I was using a tool to manage that, but then all these other bits were happening to me, stress at work, relationships, I was using no tools. No tools, it was just building up. Get to 28, the hair was the catalyst for me. So what happens here? Drink, drugs, tick, tick, going out, masking it. And eventually at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up my mother-in-law, of all people. I'll be honest, I was off my head. And I woke up my mother-in-law, of all people. She's lovely, by the way. To say, I just can't deal with it anymore. Everyone knew I had something going on. A lot of people thought I was vain. She thought I was vain when I first met her. However, she soon realised that it wasn't that. There was something else. But it's a typical thing with mental health illness, from what's projected on the outside, 1 million times worse was going on in here. So anyway, I hit 30. So after that, hit crisis, eventually reach out. Classic, start talking about it. So what I want to do is just go back to this bit here. So society, there's a lot of concentration on this bit, crisis. Everything in society for me is based on crisis. Everything you see, resources, therapy, doctors, everything's overwhelmed. And this crisis is getting worse, right? So I do a lot of work with Calm, Campaign Against Living Miserably as well. They had an increase last year of 31%, this year of 31% of calls for the suicide line. It's getting worse. But that's not the problem for me. The problem is this. From 12, you know, that 10-year journey, crisis up here, this bit here is the problem. Every documentary you see, well, not documentary, every documentary potentially, every advert you see, it's all about, we need to talk about mental health. I want to do a quick thing in this room. Can everyone put their hands up if they're aware that you're meant to talk about your mental health? Right, job done. We do not need any more fucking awareness campaigns. And I'm being deadly serious here. Every documentary you watch, charities do unbelievable work. Remember, let's talk. Fuck me. We're not going to. Well, a lot of people, you need to talk, but I'm telling you now, that 10-year journey, 24-year-old lad, yeah, he's at work, he's flying, he's making loads of sales, he's going out the weekend, he's getting lots of girls, but something's not quite right up here. He ain't reaching out. He ain't talking as much as we tell him to. And I genuinely don't think you need to talk at this point. I'll come back to that in a minute. So anyway, that 10-year journey comes to me, it happens, eventually I do reach out, and then I start getting a little bit better, okay? And that's because I was talking, I got to that crisis point. However, then I have been using makeup for the last 20 years, but what I didn't find for me was I didn't feel comfortable, yeah? I didn't feel a brand that related to myself. So I created my own men's makeup brand called Warpaint. Not sure if anyone's heard of it. That I launched in 2018. That's gone incredibly well. So what I want to do is quickly play you a video, and then I'll come back. I've got a tech platform, but I'm rubbish at technology, so let's hopefully this works. It all started back when I was 12 years old, when I got bullied in my middle school for the way I looked. This had a massive impact on my mental health. So much so that I now suffer with something called Body Dysmorphic Disorder. However, I have been using tools to help me manage my mental health, including makeup. That's why I created a men's makeup brand, Warpaint.
It's not called makeup, it's
Warpaint for men. Warpaint founder Danny Gray.
Danny Gray. It is makeup for men, and it's called Warpaint.
Warpaint has gone unbelievably well. However, I was getting so many messages from customers not to ask me about product, but my own journey with mental health. It made me realise that there's a massive need for information from the right sources and the right people. That's why I created JAAQ, a free mental health platform for the world.
We can exclusively reveal a brand new free interactive online tool.
JAAQ.
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 JAAQ with a Q.
Just
ask a question.
I can imagine businesses using JAAQ. I can imagine schools using JAAQ.
This could literally change the world.
You look at this and you think, why was this never done before?
I could never have imagined where this would go. The very first in the world JAAQ coffee shop. This is Wigan Warriors. No! It's incredible what we've achieved so far. Could you imagine what we're going to achieve in the next few years? This is JAAQ, changing the world of mental health, one question at a time.
Okay. I'll flip back to this because there's another screen. The interesting thing there, right? Can you see that I'm wearing the same tracksuit? And I'll be honest, I was getting ready. Last night I was thinking about, and classic, what am I going to wear tomorrow? I might wear that. And I'm thinking about it for ages. I'm like, no, I'm just going to wear my night tracksuit because I feel comfortable in it. I don't care that I'm on there wearing it again. And that's just a little thing in your mindset that you can change. Just wear whatever you do and whatever you're comfortable. So anyway, look, just really quickly, Warpaint has gone really well. Launched on Super Drug, America and stuff like that. But I was getting loads of people reaching out to me on social and stuff. Oh, it's amazing. Because I was talking about BDD. I was on Dragon's Den and stuff like that. About my own journey. And I said, it's incredible what you're doing for mental health. It's incredible. And I felt a fraud. I think there's a lot of people in society talking about mental health and what they've been through, which does do a lot, but they're not doing anything about it. And there was one phone call that I had. So there was a girl reached out to me on Instagram and said, my boyfriend, been with him for 2 years. He's just been told he's got body dysmorphia. I didn't know. He's in crisis. Can we have a chat? So I was like, absolutely. So I had a Zoom call on a Friday night. Disaster for him. Don't know why I offered a Zoom call. But anyway, this is what happened. So when the Zoom, this is quite handy actually, this is here. I can stand on these, right? Oh, actually it's a step, so yeah, probably can. So listen, so I'm doing a Zoom. She's sat like this on the edge of the bed and he's sat behind like that, so she can't see him. So the classic thing happens, come on, look, good looking lad, like tick, but he's like that. Like how I was feeling. And she turned around to me and she went, oh, we had a big chat. She went, look, I don't get it, my 10 minute looks great all the time. And I said, I'll be honest, it's probably the worst thing you could have said to me at that time. She was like, what? So I'll give you an example. When I was at 19, 20, getting ready, I haven't got a clue what's wrong with me, I'd go upstairs, get ready, come down, and because I'm so frustrated, I'm living with my mum, just me and my mum, I'm ripping my t-shirts off. I'm punching holes in walls. And when I used to come downstairs, my mum would say, Dan, you look amazing. In my head, I'd be like, fuck off. It's not helping me. You know, I didn't know what I needed at that point, but that reassurance thing, they think they're doing a nice thing, but they probably aren't. And it dawned on me, I had an hour with this couple, and just dawned on me about, all I told them was my story. And she got so much from it, and so did he. I was like, holy shit, the only thing that is missing for people, and I'll just tell you a quick one. This guy, he's done that 10 years, by the way. He's done longer probably than 10 years. He's gone to crisis. He's gone to his local GP. His GP has told him you've got body dysmorphic disorder. You need to see a specialist. 36-week lead time. This guy's suicidal. 36 weeks lead time to see a specialist on the NHS. That's not me dismissing the NHS. It's just because this is what's happening in society. He's waiting, crisis, 36 weeks. So what's he going to do in those 36 weeks? Shit himself. Yeah, panic. And where does he go to find information? What they said, we went everywhere. We went on YouTube, we went on Google, and it was just we couldn't get anything of the right information. At that point, it dawned on me in society, right? This 10 years I always talk about, from 0 to 10, everything's based on crisis. Everything. Every new research that comes out. The top legend is sat in front of me, right? Therapy, incredible. There's a new therapy. Different therapy for men. Okay, great, that's up here. But what are we doing about here? These people here, it's not necessarily BDD at this point, but there's something just starting to go not right, or they're not feeling comfortable. What do people do? 2 places they go, because they ain't talking about it. Go to Google, which is a disaster. If you Google what is depression, you get 8.2 billion hits of information. Only 3% of people go past the first page. That's a fucking waste of time. Yeah? And where's the other? And then all you got to look, when you go on there, NHS is the main site. Click on it, it's just text. Yeah? It's full of text. All we've got to look at society. What's happened? Social media. As good as bad as it is, it's here forever, by the way, everyone. Okay? So it used to be Facebook, which was basically posting on a forum. Then what did it move to? Went to Instagram, which was pictures. And what is it now? TikTok, short form content. That's the way people digest information. Talk about TikTok. Do you know now that TikTok is the biggest search engine on the world for mental health illnesses? Even bigger disaster for me. So I had a chat with TikTok, so they wanted to partner with us, and it scared the life out of me. He said, well, we've got a plan about paying our influencers credits to talk more about their mental health. Sorry? So people are going to go on TikTok to watch people dance with cats, because that's what you do. And then that person's going to stop halfway through and say, let me just tell you my mental health story. Fuck off. That is not what I'm about. I'm interested in. What do we get? That's here. So I had a concept of information. So David Veal here, who's an absolute unbelievable guy. He's the first guy I ever told the idea to, believe it or not. And Professor Janet Treasure, Paul Gilbert, so it's all these doctors, and they told me the first 3 sessions of any therapy session is pretty much just about giving you information about the illness. Right? Because what happens when those first 3 therapy sessions, if you go to therapy, I can guarantee, I've never had it, by the way, but again, I swear quite, you'll be shitting yourself, right? So you're probably not going to speak a lot, so they speak at you, give you information. What do you do if you have an hour's chat with someone? The brain can only hold 7 bits of information. So when you go back again, it's just reaffirming what this illness is, what you can do, what the medication is, So what I wanted to do is create a platform, an interactive platform, where people could go in a safe environment and get the right information and in an empathetic way. So I came up with the concept of JAAQ, which is called Just Ask a Question. Can I get onto the site? Yeah, I did. Shall I escape here? Don't worry if we can't. Don't worry. Okay, so I was going to show it to you, but it's pretty good. I hope so. So listen, it just stands for Just Ask a Question. You go on there, it looks like Netflix. It looks good. You can click on people, world-leading doctors. Well, I've got big celebrities on there, people with lived experience. You can ask them up to 170 questions. Basically, we filmed them in a chair, all pre-recorded, but it feels like you're having a conversation with them. We launched the platform back in October, and we've had over 300,000 visits, and we've played over 750,000 minutes of information, equivalent of 44,000 therapy sessions. It's totally free, and it's going to be free for everyone, forever. It's been overwhelming, like the response we've had, because the information, for me, is where here, people understanding it. And look, we've got illnesses on there, body dysmorphia, depression, like OCD, but we've got loads of other stuff on there, right? We've got stuff about yoga, we've got sound healing on there, we've got meditation, ADHD, dyspraxia, dyslexia. I'm dyslexic, by the way. And when you're at school, right, and you're dyslexic, I was left-handed, so double disaster, wrote like that, and dyslexic. I had 7 fucking lessons on how to hold a pen right. I promise you, and I couldn't spell. So do you know what I thought the whole time? Well, you're thick. Because do you know what happens in society now? Dan, you're really good at maths, you're good at sport, you're quite creative. Don't worry about that, let's really concentrate on your fucking English. Never going to get it. Do you know what I mean? Let's double down on this, like more lessons. So the other thing for me, please go and check it out. It's completely free. Tell your friends about it. I genuinely want to be a platform that's going to change the world, because I think the power of information is unbelievable. You know, this journey, my journey, this 10-year journey, I don't think all the time if you're here you need therapy. It's tools, right? The only reason I can stand up in front of you today is because I've learned manage my own mental health. I go to bed at the same time. I rarely drink. I get up at the same time every morning. I go to the gym now. I have cold showers, right? I have routine. I have certain things in my wardrobe. I have it placed in a certain way. All of these things has let me just become, I don't want to say normal because it's not, but I can manage. I'm as strong as I am today, and I'm going to be stronger tomorrow. And now I just want to say one final thing as well for me, and I'll open up to a bit of a Q&A if anyone's interested. The one thing, you know, this 10-year journey, there's one thing that's going to change mental health forever. And when I say mental health, that's not an illness, by the way, because that really pisses me off. Everyone thinks the word mental health is an illness. It absolutely isn't. That's part of it. It's like physical health, breaking your arm, or doing something serious is like an illness in mental health. Mental health is every minute of every day. It's when you come home from a stressful work, you have an argument, that is mental health. It's when you're happy, that is mental health. And that's how you manage it. But what's the one thing that will change everything? It's really simple. A brand. All right? And what I mean by that is a brand. Everything in our society has been changed by brands, not people, not a product. If you look at Apple, Apple is a technology product. Steve Jobs was more obsessed about the way the computer looked than how it worked. Yeah, it's about how you open the box. Who's got an iPhone in here? Who's got an Apple iPhone? Please put your hand up. Right, 80% of the people, I can guarantee 90% of that 80% haven't got a fucking clue what's on the iPhone and don't use it. But you don't care because it's Apple. All right? What about Red Bull? Red Bull, terrible drink. Terrible drink for you. Branded beautifully. Marketed beautifully. It's one of the coolest brands on the planet. The byproduct of Red Bull is a drink. Has anyone seen a documentary on JAAQ? JAAQ, so it's a vape thing that changed the vape industry, right? They could have marketed it to old people, right, for smoking, but it wouldn't look good. But they marketed it to young people, made it look really cool. It's now a pandemic in America. The byproduct of a cool brand is vaping, is a problem. I'm going to ask anyone here, can anyone tell me the Red Bull, the Apple of mental health? And there isn't one. And that's what I want to create with JAAQ. Because I'm telling you now, you go down here, 24-year-old lad, always go back to it. And I'm not talking about a guy, but this is girls as well. 16, 18-year-old lad. If he's there, at school, by the way, getting educated on stuff, if he's here, I'm not, look, a lot of the people doing amazing things. Do you think they relate to a product, though, to a brand? 24-year-old, oh, just go on that, I'm going to use some, right? Headspace and Calm app. Fuck off. He's not going to. I'm really crass about it because it's true. So I want to create the coolest mental health brand on the planet. So the platform is one thing, but it's about doing stuff outside of the platform. That's why I've got a Formula One car there. I'm just being offered a sponsorship by Alpine Formula One, which is launching next year. But let me, sorry, so just, if you can watch this.
This is JAAQ, changing the world of mental health, one question at a time. And this is Wigan Warriors. No! Hopefully, if we create the coolest mental health brand on the planet, we can help change mental health.
JAAQ.
JAAQ.
JAAQ with a Q.
Just ask a question.
The very first JAAQ coffee shop. I'm just going to freeball. I think it'll be all right. All of these topics, road to recovery, don't check this out. Hi. I'm going to go again. So I just go, yeah? JAAQ. Felt good. Okay, yeah, I'll start again.
All right, so just a couple of, I don't know how I'm doing for time. All right for time? You got, yeah. 5 minutes. So look, just a few things that we've done, right? Adidas are partnered with us globally for the platform, right? So we're filming Ben Stokes, we're filming Stormzy's coming on the platform. Pure Gym have put us in every locker in the country. Alpine Formula One, I've just done a deal with them. They're going to put us all in Formula One cars. I'm at Dublin on the 8th of December. PFL, Professional Fighters League, is the MMA, right? It's UFC Professional Fighters League. They're putting JAAQ all around the octagon. I'm doing content about the mindset and how people, about the fighters. NatWest have put JAAQ in a load of the banks. Nationwide, we put JAAQ across every single bank. Right, I'm doing Harlequins. I was on the pitch with Harlequins, the rugby team. So I was on the pitch with them. I did the very first ever mental health Mexican wave on the ground. And this is what I'm saying about creating it's almost like a sports brand, right? That does really cool stuff to market it, but the byproduct is a free platform. And just finally for me, education for kids in schools, it ain't working. I think I'm pretty blunt, and everyone's like, fucking oh, this guy. But I'm passionate about young kids in schools and how we educate them. I think at the minute, I generally think it isn't working. Imagine a cool brand for 16, 12, especially 13, 14-year-old people at school. You've got to make it interactive. You've got to make it cool. Imagine, have you seen that brand that's everywhere? Finally, for me, I'll use an analogy. 2 60-year-old men, 50-year-old men in a pub. One turns around to the other one and says, how you getting on, mate? He says, yeah, not too bad. He goes, well, actually, I don't know what it is, but my son, he's eating nothing. He's not eating anything. And he said, I've tried everything, he just won't eat anything. So the mate there, what's that mate going to do about it? He ain't going to tell his mate to go to the Com app, yeah, or to go to these sites, because it's not going to happen. It's not the generation. Imagine me turn around and say, have you seen that brand, JAAQ? It's everywhere. Do sport, they do Formula 1, it's everywhere. I think there's a platform there. It's got all big celebrities on it. Like, I think they've got stuff there on eating disorders. Just go and check it out. Job done. And then Janet Treasure, who's on the platform for eating disorders, she's classed now as #1 in the world. She told me one thing that rung true. She said the most important thing for eating disorders is not that person going through therapy. It's the 5 people around them getting the right information on how to support them. So but think about the support people. This isn't people just going through something. What about parents? What about I'll get upset. What about my mum? Where's she going to go? Where are half the people in this audience going to go, really, when they're struggling? So hopefully I didn't come across too strong. I've got I just believe if we just create that brand, I think that will change everything, because nothing else is working. It is. And all this stuff I talk about up here, it does amazing work. But I just think everyone thinks everything's crisis. You know, only 10% of people should get to this point. You shouldn't need to here. So just want to say thank you very much. By the way, the BDD Foundation, incredible work that they do. This illness, we all know, it's got one of the biggest suicide rates and biggest killers, because no one talks about it. I've got a big 2 in front of me. Only 20 minutes or 2? 2. I've got 2 minutes, so that if anyone's got any questions, I know it's a bit like tumbleweed. Oh, we've got one. Wallop. So.
I completely appreciate and value the comments you made about working with brands, so some of the big brands. When we're going to have a serious discussion with these brands about giving opportunities like my son in the workplace, because one of the barriers for people with this condition is actually getting a job, and having an employer who supports them in the workplace. And I can assure you, none of those brands would have supported, would have given my son a job. And I think we need to have a serious discussion about all these businesses that pay lip service to wanting to help, we understand, yeah, HSBC, we do this. They wouldn't even employ somebody with this condition. And I think it's a and therefore we need to have that.
Absolutely.
About how these brands actually step up to the plate and do what they say they do.
Absolutely, I like that. It's a very good point. So, JAAQ, look, I started JAAQ really quickly as a charity. That was a disaster because the charity model, charities that have been going a while, they have backing. New charities, very hard to go and get money. So it is a for-profit organisation. I've got a JAAQ at Work arm, right? So we do exactly what we say. We go into businesses and sell into our platform. But I've been shouting about this a lot. Exactly what you're saying, right? Everything in mental health within the workplace is for tick box to look good.
We have to take a mainstream employer, one of the country's biggest employers, to an employment tribunal to get reasonable adjustments in the workplace. This is law.
But they
do not come to the table lightly, and this is the biggest decision.
Oh, absolutely. But I totally agree, and I think this is the other thing for me is like we're going and selling into organisations, right? And these organisations, I talk about it is always lip service. It's putting in products. Say we put all these products in, no one fucking uses them. It's 2 to 4% utilisation, so it's a waste of time. It is a tick box exercise. So these partnerships that we're doing, right? This is more than them just putting their brands in. They're actively giving me stuff, right? So Alpine Formula 1. I know the bigger thing for work. That is not a 2-minute fix, by the way. I don't think we'll ever get to a point because business is business. And I know it's tough, but I think business is there to make money. A lot of it is tick box exercises. And a lot of it is to say we're doing stuff in mental health. On Mental Health Awareness Day, one day a fucking year, that they shout about it. So look, just that is a much bigger discussion. Of course, yeah. Of course, and that's like, that is a much bigger problem. But it's business, it's new businesses. The thing for me, archaic businesses, you're never going to change because they're big beasts. It's new businesses like us at JAAQ, new organisations who are starting that are more aware about mental health, put more stuff in. So the new businesses will succeed and outdo the archaic ones. These big brands will never change for me. That's a big point, though. And look, just for me, with these partnerships, they're giving me exposure. Pure John will put us in every single locker for free. They're giving me sponsorship deals which are worth millions for free because I can't afford to spend money to market the free platform, but it's working. You know, we've had 400,000 visitors and emails everywhere. So that's why I'm using, I'll be honest, I'm using them, you know. So, but thanks. That was a proper question, wasn't it?
And thank
Love
you.
it.
Time's up. Sorry,
All right,
Danny.
thank you very much,
great.
everyone.
Thank you.
Pleasure.